Now that we have our trusses on our house, we want to do the rest of the framing necessary so that we can put our plywood on the roof and close in the house. Now we need to frame the end walls, the framing over the gables on the end walls to form the overhangs on the ends. Okay, some people call these little members lookouts, some call them outlookers, some call them gable end framing. There's lots of different things you can call them, but that's what we're going to do. Now these gables are low profile gable, so they're dropped from the plane of the house here, 3.5 inches, the width of a 2x4. And so we need to get some 2x4 so we can use them for framing. So I'm going to create a 2x4 is the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to make a rectangle, and I'm going to make that rectangle 16 feet long. And then I'm going to make it 1.5 inches wide. Okay, so there's 16 feet long, 1.5 inches wide, and now I can use my push-pull tool, and I can pull it up 3.5 inches, because that's how big a 2x4 is. Now I have a 16-foot 2x4 that I can use for my framing. I'm going to use it for my subfascia. I'm going to use it for my little lookouts. I'm going to use it for all kinds of things. So I thought it'd be best if I just got one made here. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to make it a group, okay, like I've done before. And then I can paint it. I can make it wood color. And since it's a group, I only have to click on one side and it turns the whole thing wood color. So now I have my group, and I want to tag this material. This is going to be roof framing. And I think that's what I'll call it. So I'll go into tags. I didn't tag my trusses before, so I'll go back and tag my trusses also, but I'm going to tag these. I'm going to make a new tag, and I'm going to call it roof framing. Okay. And then I'll select this member, right click, and entity information, and I will go from untag to roof framing. Okay, great. Now that 2x4 is identified as roof framing material. Okay, now I want to make these little lookouts. So they're going to run perpendicular to the trusses. They're going to go from the last truss. They're going to face nail into that last truss, sit on top of the gable, and then extend out the same distance that these overhangs extend out. So in order to ensure that it's the same distance, I'm just going to set this piece of wood here. I'm going to move it, and I'm going to grab that corner, and I'm going to snap it up here to this corner right there. Okay, so I've got it up against the truss in the back. Just want to make sure it's sitting in the right place. See, right up against that truss. And then I can tell exactly how long that piece is going to be when I push it back to where those overhangs are. I'm going to double click on it, use my push pull tool, and I'm going to push the end back. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to keep one of those, right? I just used my template, and I don't want to use my template. I should have copied it. So I'm going to paste one down here so that I have an extra one to use. Now I have a template. I can go ahead and modify this one, and I won't have to create a new one. So I'm going to push this back to where those overhangs are. Okay. I'm going to look and make sure everything's the right size. See how it comes out to exactly the same length as that overhang? The reason is then our subfascia will all match up here. Okay. So that's great. That's the piece that we want. But now I don't want to leave it there, right? I need to move it up to where it belongs. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to move it, and I'm going to select this back corner back here, and I'm going to bring it up to the peak, and I'm going to set that back corner right at the intersection at the bottom of the peak here, okay? Because that's where I want this piece to be. So it sits right on the peak of the gable. But now I need to rotate it so it rotates down, and this bottom side is flush with the top of the gable. So to rotate something like that, you can come over here to the move command, and you can select the rotate command, the one that has the circles. then what you can do is you can select 2 points. The first point is the point you want to rotate about, and the second point is the point that you're going to move. So I'm going to select this corner to rotate about, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select this corner as the corner that I want to move. Okay, now I can move it and rotate it about that first corner. And I want to rotate it down so that it is flush with the edge of this group here. Okay, so now I've created my first lookout. It's flush on the top here. It comes out exactly as far as the overhangs down below, and it's sitting in the correct spot. Now I want to make another one. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it. Okay. Now I'm going to move it around a little bit so it's easier to see. So I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to go this way with it. I'm not worried about being in the exact right spot right now because I'm going to rotate it just like I did the other one to ensure that everything's fine. So I want to put that in place. So our point is right at the peak. Now I can come in and I can use the rotate command. I can pick the point I want to rotate about, which is this point, and I can come out and select my second point, and then I can move it down to where it is on the edge of that group. Okay, so now I have my little V-shaped lookouts up at the top. You always start there, okay, because you need some place to nail that plywood at the end, and that's as close as you can get to the top without custom cutting some little wedges or something. Now we can copy an array of these members at 24 inches on center in this direction. So we want to select the member and move it and copy it. And I want to go this direction with it. The question is, how are we going to get, see when that purple line comes up, that tells you that you're parallel to that edge. And that's where I want to be. And I want to be 24 inches on center, 24, enter. And then I'll come in here and I'll say times, I really don't know how many, so I'll just say 14 because I want to make sure I have enough. Okay, so we put them all in there and oh my goodness, I've got enough. Okay, I've got way too many. But the thing is, it's super easy to delete them. So that would have been 12, that would have been 11, that would have been 10, that would have been 9, that would have been 8. So we needed a whole lot less, maybe 6, okay, would have been the right number. So I'm going to delete the extra ones. And now I've got my lookouts in for that side, okay? And now I can come over here and do the other side. So I select it, move it, copy it, come down to where I get a purple line. Because if I get that purple line, I know that I am bringing them down parallel to my, well, that's not, don't want that purple line. That's not the right direction. Oh, there I had it. Okay, that direction. I want to go 24 inches. And I'm going to say times, I think we said 5. So maybe we'll be okay with 5 of them. Looks like I should have gone 6. Okay, not a problem. I can move this one, copy it, go down along that purple line. I'm not sure the easiest way to do that, but that worked. 24 inches. Okay, so looks like that's where I need to go on that one. Okay. When we do the subfascia, I'll show you what to do down here at the end. We're actually going to put a piece on top of this gable that looks like an overhang. And so when you look at it from the bottom, it'll look like an overhang. But that's how to do your lookouts. Now that has to be done on all the gables. So it has to be done on this gable, has to be done on the front gable, has to be done on this back gable here, and then on the front side of this gable right here, where it's taller than these other trusses. You need to have those lookouts come across on the top of this gable. On the back side, you're just going to have some ladder framing. Actually, we've got trusses, but we don't even need any ladder framing back there. That's going to work out just fine the way it is. Okay, so put in the rest of your lookouts and we'll be all ready to move to the next part of the roof framing.